Hello, I'm A6M5 and welcome to episode 28 of my look at the Japanese tech tree in War Thunder. Today I'll be covering the A6M5 Model 52 and Model 52 Otsu, or B. This was a slight redesign to the Zero in attempt to get the peak speed performance rather than turning performance out of the aircraft. It did so with a revised wing design. As you can see here, it's a lot shorter and stubbier and actually does away with the folding wing mechanism again. This gives it a decent roll rate, although I do get clipped there by that P-47, although nothing too serious. So it's a shorter wing with a thicker skin over the wing, which permitted higher diving speeds as well. It also has a revised engine cowling and exhaust system. As you can see, all the exhaust stacks are separate in this aircraft, although it's worth noting that early productions of the A6M5 actually had the same engine cowling as the M3, in that the exhaust stacks were all combined into two just underneath the fuselage there, either side of the air intake for the oil cooling system. The separate exhaust stacks are aimed backwards in an attempt to get that little bit of extra speed out of the aircraft, which it does do. This is the fastest Zero model we have in War Thunder. There is a premium variant of this for purchasing one of the packs. Basically, it's this aircraft, but it changes the armament slightly. The armament changes the cannon from it's still the Model 2 Type 99 cannon, so the slower rate of fire, high muzzle velocity one, but it changes from a belt-fed gun into a drum-fed gun into a belt-fed gun, which gives it an extra 25 rounds per gun. The M5, the base model M5 has the same armament as the M3. The two 7.7 machine guns, the Type 97s in the nose and the two 99s in the wings, the cannons. As you can see here, we are fighting the Americans over Saipan, but well, they had wow, my brain's not working today. They had altitude on us from pretty much the start of the match, in addition to having a pretty powerful squad with a XP-58 and an XP-50, which you can see behind me. In retrospect, I probably should have turned the other way. It would have given me a better shot earlier on the XP-50, but I'm diving on him here. I'm using my machine guns in an attempt to, force them lower, but honestly the 7.7s don't do really much at this sort of tier. The planes tend to be robust enough that unless you're getting a lot of shots on and damaging control surfaces, they don't do much. But as you can see, it still generally makes people think they're being shot at and manoeuvre, which is a benefit to you because it slows them down, which is their main advantage over you. Because despite being the quickest of the Zeros, it's still slower than most planes it'll face. I was lucky that P-47 didn't go for me, but I think he was trying to help his friend. I see another Zero drifting in front of me there, so I pull off. I don't want to wind up getting a bit of friendly fire there. I'll also be covering the A6M5 Otsu model, or B. They get a nice crit on the wing there, and forced to dodge a couple of my friendly planes that are coming in. I switch over to the XP-50 because I can hear several planes coming in, although I do see he's being shot at, but I just take a quick burst in and then fly away, or get a assist on that. Fair enough. The guy behind me was doing a bit more damage, and I roll away as this P-47 is attempting to get on my 6. An easy enough dodge though. And straighten out and move away from the combat. in an attempt to gain some altitude, because there are, well, that XP55 still has altitude, and so do those P47s, so hopefully they'll go take on the rest of my team down low, attacking that P47 down there. Loup Blanc, a French guy perhaps. So I turn around here, although that XP55 is heading my way, so I'm gonna have to dodge him. But luckily for me, I've got a Key 43, presumably a Model 3, just above me there, so hopefully he can deal with that insane Delta Wing. Is it a Delta Wing? It's just a reverse design, isn't it? There you go, the Kai 43 quickly dealt with the XP55, and I'm going to go help my team with these remaining P47s by attacking the highest one. So the M5 flies much more like the original M3 rather than the Model 22, in that you've got quite a good roll rate, but you've sacrificed your turning ability, although obviously it's still better than pretty much every plane you will face, certainly at low speeds. At high speeds you can, or rather planes like the P47 and P51 do actually start turning quite well, and it can be quite surprising, and your plane is less responsive at these speeds, so you do really want to be engaging in turn fights sort of sub 500 kilometers an hour. Despite the Allies having altitudes, a lot of our teams actually survived, and they're down to, I think, 3 planes now, these 2 P47s and a PBJ. No, I tell a lie, there's 4, there's also a P63 hanging around somewhere. So I get a nice fire in that P47, although fires don't apparently count as critical hits anymore. So I don't actually get an assist for that, which is a shame, but oh well. And I'll drop in behind this French P47. It's not actually the French one. Did the French get a P47? I think they might. Oh well. Although he's got so many guys on his tail that I don't think I can take a shot here. I think that Kai 43 is in front of me, so I just let him engage rather than attempt to do it myself. But I thought I'd dive on him just in case the P43 didn't have the speed, but he clearly does. So I pull away, he crashes into the sea, and I head over to go attack that PBJ, and I'll be cutting away here because it would just be me flying for about a minute or so, with no engagement. So here you see the PBJ, there's another 0 coming in to attack him. That guy down there, Screaming Weasel, great name. So he engages the PBJ. Fortunately the PBJ was manoeuvring, so he couldn't really get his guns on. And he's engaging him now, so I'm able to engage and blow both his elevators off. And, well, as you can see, he's now in a flat spin. But unfortunately, I don't get the kill there. For whatever reason, it's given to Screaming Weasel, but oh well, can't complain too much. So now there's just that mysterious P63 somewhere, so I'm going to try and get some altitude, and I probably should repair and rearm actually, but I was looking for him and I'm pretty sure he was over at the carriers and had made a miraculous carrier landing, but I'm actually wrong. He's a lot closer than I think. And for whatever reason, Screaming Weasel is deciding to land at that not airfield over there. But oh well, I'm sure he can take off again. And there's that P63 diving on him, which was most unfortunate for him. Well, it's actually most unfortunate for the P-63s. He's picked up far too much speed in this dive. Weasel is actually able to move on the ground, and while the P-63 does technically take him out, he still seems to be alive down there, and the P-63 has ploughed into the ground, killing himself, pretty much giving us the game. Had he stayed at altitude, he probably could have made it substantially more difficult for us, and even ran out some of the tickets and got a few kills, but no, he just ploughed into the ground there. So I'll be skipping over to the Otsu model, the B. This has a couple more differences. This is also a night battle. I really like night battle, but it might be quite difficult to see. If you are finding it too difficult to see, do let me know and I will get different footage. I suppose I could have turned the camera up, but honestly I think that looks absolutely awful, so I thought I'd just leave it. I was following a Yak 9, I'd followed down from altitude, but instead I decided to dive on and help out this Kai 61 against this Yak 3 and A6M5. So the main changes, you can hear them there. You replaced one of the Type 97 7.7 machine guns with a Type 3 machine gun. This is essentially a copy of the M2 Browning machine gun, but it fires the 13.2mm Hotchkiss ammunition. Unfortunately, the Kai 61 was taken out by a second Yak 3, which I didn't see, and I don't follow him into that turn, it would have ploughed him into the ground, and I unfortunately blew off my flaps earlier trying to get guns onto that A7. Make a quick burst with my machine guns and then attempt to climb because, well, the Yak 3s have great low altitude performance and he had so much more speed on me that I wouldn't have possibly caught him here, so it's best just to gain altitude at this point. The other major change with the Otsu over the regular M5 is it's got an enlarged spinner, which kind of suggests it had a slightly different propeller, but we don't know that. Oh, it also has a much better protection for the pilot. You have a 45mm armoured glass plate, and I believe an 8mm bucket seat, so your pilot actually has a bit of protection in this aircraft. Oh, it has the belt-fed variant of the Type 99, so you've got that extra 50 rounds of cannon ammo in this aircraft as well. All this made the aircraft a bit heavier, so it's actually a little slower than the regular M5, but not to be sniffed at. So I'm actually still tracking that Yak 3 in the cloud, and I spot him here and turn around to get onto a 6. I do not believe he spots me. So I don't climb because I'm trying to increase my speed, and now I'm guessing where he is. I think he's there. There he is. Got him. Fire a quick burst that goes over him. Another burst. Actually get a fire there, but again, fires don't count as crits anymore. I was actually aware of this at the time, so I was like, I've got him on fire. That'll be not necessarily the end of him, but he is going down here, and that fire seems to have stuck. Get another quick hit into him there. He's got damage to his fuel tank, so I pull away, just in case there's any enemies, because I've certainly spotted there. But then the fire's gone out, and I have completely lost him. So I don't actually get the kill on that guy, nor do I even get an assist. He just crashes a bit later in the match. So I'll cut away. I'm being perhaps a little foolish in attempting to keep engaging the enemies rather than heading back to support my 3 remaining aircraft, which is probably what I should have done. Given there are still quite a few Soviets left. I believe at least 5. But I'm tracking another target through the clouds here. Yeah, at least 5. what I think is one of the bombers, and I don't want to have our base bombed out. But as I close in, it turns out not to be. See there, you see that Yak 3 crashed, but I didn't get a notification for it or an assist or anything. It's not a bomber, it is in fact a P63, which I'm quite happy to take out. You see, while it rolls good for a 0, the roll is still pretty bad, so you'll find if you're fighting against the M5 zeros, you can, if you have a good roll rate, use that in defensive flying against them. So I've got a few hits onto that P63 and I'm actually starting to close on him now. He's bled quite a lot of speed doing these little manoeuvres, and I'm actually out of the 13mm machine gun ammo. You have 240 rounds for that machine gun. I take him out and quickly manoeuvre out of the way of that I-185 that was closing into Oppa's friend. And it would have been a 1 versus 1 duel, but then a Yak 9T joins the fight as well. I roll into the Yak 9T and drop onto his 6, then go and locate the I-185 who is closing in on my 6. So I gain a bit of altitude so I can roll and turn here. This is really where I regret losing my flaps. He's actually able to get a nice shot of 20mm. But again, it hits the rear of the fuselage and only really does splash damage on the wings, so my plane, well, this is one way the Zero is actually surprisingly durable. The tail doesn't tend to fall off like it does in the, say, P47 or anything. I've got them both behind me now, and I'm heading over to the Kai 61, who can hopefully help me out. But as the I-185 closes in on me, I am forced to dive below, avoid the shots of the Yak, and then pull back up. The Yak 9T actually went below me, so I drop onto his 6, but the I-185 is closing in on me again, despite being closed by the Kai 61. Again, take minimal damage from glancing blows by those 20mm, and follow the I-185 up a bit, just use the machine gun to attempt to get into manoeuvre and lose a bit of speed. I get a hit, although very lucky. Those 37mm rounds were incredibly close. The Ak-9T's bled a lot of speed though, and I'm able to catch him here, get a crit into his right wing, and drop in on his 6, although you can see the very low roll rate of the M5 there. Ooh. Again, get lucky by not dying immediately from those cannon rounds, but unfortunately I was just too slow and didn't manoeuvre early enough. So that was well fought by that I-185. Anyway, so that's been the A6M5 and Otsu models. Thoroughly recommend them, they're fantastic aircraft. I'm back down to the OK. Thank you for watching.